Ladies and gentlemen, permit me, please, to claim your attention for a moment.
Nothing is real.
Well, according to the introduction, I'm not going to cover every single law you fell for. I'm just going to cover the top three for now. Your money, the fact that the way the law has been written, you can only go to jail for a crime if there was violence. If there wasn't, they had no right to put you in jail. If you currently know someone who's sitting in jail and the crime had no violence, you can get him out inside a couple of weeks. And on top of that, why you live on a flat earth, that they lie to you about the pretty blue ball. I'm going to touch on that a little bit, and hopefully you'll do your own research afterwards. I'll also cover why the lie, since they had a perfectly good reason. But let's get into your money. Now, according to the way the laws have been written, when the United States went bankrupt, it said that no one has to carry any money around. And then afterwards, a whole bunch of countries liked the idea that you can go bankrupt and start collecting money off people's trust funds because you give them, let's say, between 3 and 500 million, then they drop dead, and then the country simply sucks the money out because you never spent a dime. Turns out, all you have to do is fill out a few pieces of paper, and they're willing to give you your money back as fast as you know how to suck it up. And I'm going to cover all that pretty quick. Now, what we're going to start with, this is the home of legal ibis. Everything here is absolutely free. You first give them your email, then they send you a confirmation in your email, then afterwards you confirm, and everything here is good to go. We're going to first go into forums where basically it says how to pay bills with a coupon. A coupon is anything that you have to cut or it has a perforated edge, and it sounds a lot like when you used to go grocery shopping. Well, that was a coupon too. But here's a coupon that you didn't even know about, and I'll get to in a second. Now, again, they have videos, what you're supposed to do, and then they have a few success stories that cover every single situation that they covered in the videos, a quick recap. But now, here's a lady who basically said that she didn't like the conditional acceptance letter because it was too rash, brash, and crude, and it just wasn't her freaking style, man. So she basically has to do this every single month. Now, those are all the UCC codes that a company breaks when they send you a bill. You literally have to remind the company that they're breaking these laws, because when this person made a deal with Capital One in the beginning, the contract she signed said that they're only going to take the money from her trust. And then they start changing the rules on you on the fly, and you didn't even know it when they send you a statement with a coupon on the bottom. Most folks fill it out, and they have no idea that the company is officially double dipping, actually triple dipping. I'll explain that a bit later. Now, basically, here's this guy who says, here's a letter from the lady who says, I do this every single month. And they knock it off every single month. Feel free to pause the video, take a good look, and we're going to now move on to a fella who did literally everything he was told. And basically here, when you look on your credit card on the phone, it will always at the bottom where it says no payment due or make a payment, it will always have a date here, the next billing cycle to be technical. Even if your credit card has a full balance ready to go, it'll still have a date in this area. Go take a look. Now, this guy here never has to make another payment ever again, which is what you get when you send him all the paperwork, make a few phone calls, and straighten the BS out for them. And then basically he just has to wait until the next billing cycle. His credit card gets reinstated to a full balance. He can spend it, and they never ask him for a dime ever again. At this point here, when I first saw this, I decided to download the whole website. And here in coupons, I have literally every single UCC code that gets violated when you receive a bill. And I have them in two formats. Option A is you can read about it just the way it's written in legalese. Or option B, if you, like I, had no clue what this was or what they were talking about, here's a fellow by the name of Coach MT.
And if you want to be part of the tribe, we got all the really good stuff in there, then you can do that. The link is in the description box down below. So UCC 3-11 is accord and satisfaction by use of instruments. So this is just some of the things that are going on inside of that code. You can go look this up, all right? I'm not here to read to you. You need to pause the video, all right? Pause the video and read it. And I'm going to go through some things in every code and kind of point some things out, all right? So this is now story time in kindergarten. So pause the video, read, hit play, okay? Now we're going to talk about something here called the instrument inside of...
Now, basically, I'm not going to play the whole video, but if you want, this guy here literally explains why they're breaking these laws and just how badly they are breaking them, why they're breaking them, how you can stop them from breaking them, all the books you can buy to help you figure this stuff out, because you can do it. Now, we're gonna go and take a look in Sestacute Trust. By the way, as far as coupons go, I also have literally everything you possibly could use as far as this goes, as far as coupons. Literally explaining it with either papers or a video, your choice how you want to absorb the information. Now, we're gonna go into Sestacute Trust. Sestacute Trust, in short, the Skippy Dippy, they never told you, but when you're born, they split you in half. There's the part of you that has the all caps, which is all on your ID, and then there's the other you that they gave the trust fund to. And that person's name starts with Sestacute Trust, or Sestacute, and then your name, Bob Smith, or whatever. And basically, this is how they're able, as long as they never told you about it, they can continue lying to you about it nonstop. I'm having a little bit of problems here with my player, mostly because I'm a targeted individual, and folks want to make it as hard as freaking possible at every step of the way. Here's a lady.
So, how many people here knows what the SSAB after 1666 was? Anybody know anything about the SSAB after 1666 or the SSAB trust fund? Nobody knows about that. A little bit. Yes. All right. Yes. So when you're born, your mom and dad usually fills out a birth certificate, right? That birth certificate is taken to the registrar, and about 9 to 7 days afterwards, you're recorded in the registry at your state, at the capital of your state. They create a corporation in your name in all capital letters. Okay? It is not you. It is an all capital name corporation. That corporation is then funded by the SSAB after 1666, and you get $1.5 million from your mom and $1.5 million from your dad's seeded money from their trust funds to start yours. Over the next 2 years, at least $300,000 added. And every time your parents apply or register you as a child in daycare or school or health department, or any time they give your information or birth certificate or social security number, they're getting access to those companies' corporations to use your trust fund money on your behalf. Now we are the beneficiaries of all those $1 million, so we're not allowed to access it directly. We have to go through different companies. If we are social, they are allowed to access for us on our behalf. If we have the beneficiary money, we can access it directly. Does that make sense?
No, how do you know it? How do you know what you just said?
You look up the SSAB after 60.
before we get to the next one, I just want to explain to you that taxes are completely voluntary. I'll cover that a little bit later on, but it doesn't matter what country you live in. A living man isn't supposed to pay taxes. Oh, now, by the way, when I say a living man, I also mean women, but when living man came into law, women's rights didn't really exist. My apologies for society, I guess. So, basically, I'm going to cover this, and then afterwards I'll show you why some other person who says taxes in every single country are completely voluntary.
Constant dismiss question mark. Chris uses bowling versus Wisconsin to prove all tax as STK trust. However, the document says that's recorded dismissed action. Well, Judge, unfortunately, I'm not going to spend time doing that research for you, but I think the question was addressed. He's an answer right here by showing you, for example, the law in New York. And the law in New York says clearly, I'm going to open that page here. Excuse me, guys. So the New York law says this.
Before we continue, I just want to say that around this time I started playing with my zoom button, and what I saw when I zoomed in and what you're going to see are night and day. So basically, the Spider-Man effects are out the window. The effects here are the suck eggs effects. But at least after you finish watching this, you can go collect $300 million. And we'll continue on.
Officers, trustees of public property, the common council, and the civil members thereof, and all officers and employees of the city are hereby declared trustees of the property, funds, and effects of said city, respectively, so far as such property, funds, and effect are or may be committed to their management or control. And every taxpayer residing in said city is hereby declared to be a STK trust in respect to the said property, funds, and effect, respectively. So I'm just going to stop there. You can read more, but that the law recognizes that every taxpayer is a STK trust. So Chris was right, even if he quoted from a different angle. So that being said, again, for you guys wonder where this is, you should just go to this form question. I believe that the link to this article is right there, which is the New York law, and I guess George already responded to that. Anyhow, so
okay, so it's important that we get it right? Okay, so when we look at the language, it says the key phrase, every taxpayer residing in said city is hereby declared to be a STQ trust. Okay, so that's the language. However, when you go look at the definition, what does STQ trust mean? And I don't know if you've done this already. I've looked everywhere on the internet, everywhere. There's no trust by the name of STQ anywhere. There's no type of trust called STQ anywhere. What STQ trust is literally translated to mean is beneficiary of the trust. That's what it means. So every taxpayer is a beneficiary of the trust. It doesn't mean that every taxpayer is a trust. And if you go look, you'll find it. And so I put a link in there to show you the proof. And I don't really want to be wrong. I want to be wrong on this, but I can't find any evidence of a trust named STQ. I can't find it anywhere. But type of trust called STQ. STQ trust literally translates to mean beneficiary.
Okay, so I think someone already made that argument actually in the forum, and there's been some back and forth. I think his name was Dan, I believe, or something like that. So, I think you have the right spirit to try to get correctness, but I think at the same time, you have to understand you're dealing with a corrupt system that's there to people, and they're not going to reveal everything to you. Like, if, for example, you can go ask everywhere. They're going to tell you there's no trust that exists. If you're just going to go by what they say or what they don't say, we're not going to find out the truth until you reach the depth of people inside that are willing. Let me give you an example, right? I'm going to share something with you. Let me see. Okay, I was talking to someone. Okay, I'm not going to say, I'll tell this. I was talking to someone. Someone talked to and asked the IRS agent, so how can you guys send people to jail? The person was arguing that nobody should ever go to jail for not paying taxes or something like that. How can you guys send people to jail? And the agent told him, we don't. They choose to go to jail. What happens is we tell them, after we prosecute them, we tell them, okay, which jail would you like to go to? This federal prison, this state prison, this whatever, and they choose one of the options. That's how the system treats them. So everybody's going to tell you, oh, yeah, people actually go to jail for that. They actually go. But the agent told them, they could just say, I choose none of them. So my point is, when you're dealing with a system that is treating you, they're not going to be forefront with the full truth. Maybe this will be hidden. So now, to come back closer to you right now.
There's a bit more to that video, not much. Now let's basically hop off to this particular video. I'll set it up briefly for you. This is one of Donald Trump's lawyers, or accountants, either way, and Donald was pissed, and he decided that he'd like to tell the world, because this was broadcasted on CNN, that taxes are completely voluntary. You can ask an accountant to ask him for a single law that says you have to pay taxes. Of course, a dead corporation, corporation, corpse, dead entity, has to pay taxes. But you're not a dead corporation. You're a living, breathing human being. And you're not allowed to pay taxes in 290 out of 330 countries. I know you left school thinking there's thousands of laws that say you have to pay taxes, and there's probably thousands of reasons and proofs that you live on a pretty blue ball, but when you actually go digging, you're going to find there's absolutely no laws and no proofs to back up all the hooey you've been told your entire life. So here's Donald's lawyer.
Because it's a voluntary system of payment of our taxes.
Agreed.
Respect the fact that we have a voluntary system of paying our taxes. Okay,
Okay, and then he goes on, that sounds really crazy, you ought to talk to this guy, but it's quicker if you actually, ask Googles to give you a law, or ask an accountant to give you a law. Literally, go do your own research, find out that you've been BS royally, as far as personal taxes go. Next, what we want to cover is the fact that, remember how I said 290 out of 330 countries? Well, in the countries department. And then afterwards, this lady's going to talk about a form, and I will show you where that form is and how to get to it and how to fill it out, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So just hang on, just go read all the countries.
I do have a list at the bottom for the non-Hodges countries, because I know some people ask those questions regarding the Hodges, non-Hodges convention countries. So is apostle the same as authentication? An apostle is for documents to be used in countries that participate in the 1961 Hodge Convention Treaty. Authentication certificates are for documents to be used in countries that do not participate in the 1961 Hodge Convention Treaty. This is why I say do the non-Hodge. If you are required, a birth certificate in a country that is listed below, you will need to have it authenticated by the U.S. Department of State. That is with travelstate.gov. Okay? So this list will be here. You can use any of these countries to your federal. That's for the federal level. If your Secretary of State offers the non-Hodges, some don't. If they do, choose one of these countries. Federal level authentication, step by step. Determine the country. Certified is not included in the Hodge Convention. Request authentication services. Now, that is that DS 4194 form. That is through federal. Okay? A lot of people are confusing the state level with the federal level. This form is what you're going to need in order to mail it in to the federal travelstate.gov.
I forgot to mention that she calls the Hague Hodges deep south, but basically that was the Treaty of 61, where I stopped because I live in Canada. But there's also the Treaty of 63, 65, and 69, and that is literally how 290 out of 330 countries work exactly the same way, because they're literally partnered up with the IRS. As far as Canada is concerned, where I happen to live, they are literally partners up with the IRS. Our tax code is literally identical to the U.S. tax code. In fact, most of our laws, criminal laws, are exactly identical to the U.S. criminal laws. But various other countries are a little bit different. The only place, but as far as the federal laws are concerned, they're identical to the U.S. because they are partners. After the U.S. walks into every single country on the planet, and the ones the U.S. didn't walk into, the Russians walked into and said, it's time to privatize absolutely everything, and we'll show you how to bankrupt your country and turn you into multi-billionaires while you sell us your entire country. And most countries are more than happy to do it when these guys pay off the right people. Now, when you finally get to the IRS, here's how nice they are. Now, before I start off with this, when you contact the IRS, they will be pricks. Royal pricks. They know exactly what you want. And to speed things along, all you have to do and say is that I know we have a treaty between our countries. And they will immediately send you to the treaties department. By the way, it helps if your phone number looks American, because they don't like picking up phone calls from them goddamn foreigners. So basically, once you get to the treaties, actually once you say that you want the treaties department, the next question that agent is going to ask you is, what language would you like the next person to be talking to you in if they detect that you're having problems with English? And they will cover any freaky, and every language they speak, they have a treaty with that country. Now, here's something you're going to be surprised with, as far as when I say 290 out of 330. All the communist countries currently are on the list. They are partnered up with the United States IRS office. I know it sounds really funny when you hear that, according to what you see in mainstream news, but this is something they've been hiding on you all your life. The Russians and the United States are actually good friends. Everything you see on TV is just for show, literally just for show. Here is.
So you would go to www.irs.gov with a backslash and the word fire.
Fire as in
I-R-E.
Okay.
As in a force fire.
As in a force
fire.
Gotcha. All right.
Fire, and then on the right hand side it should say Access IR for TCC. That's what you click on that. Access IR for TCC. You have to click on that and fill out the information that it's asking. And then once you hit complete your application, you should be able to see the TCC number should be on your application there.
And once you fill out that piece of paper online, you can do this in 290 out of 330 countries. It's in your best interest to do this right away, since it's all on IRS websites. That makes it pretty much spick and span, but it's up to you. Next, I want to show you something, but first, a quick introduction. This is the fellow that I call Captain Ron, and he literally knows all the laws in every country. You know how if you start reading about legalese stuff, it makes you fall asleep? Well, this keeps him up at night. He's wired exactly opposite to the rest of the world. But this works in your favor as far as that goes. Now, I'm going to mention that everything I'm showing you now is absolutely free, except Captain Ron charges for any question that you may have or pose to him. So just saying that, but he literally knows every law in every country. And since I live in Canada, this video is a little skewed.
Ron, are you familiar because you have an international crowd here? Does this also hold up in Commonwealth countries and other places across the world?
Well, not all over the world, but it does. There are patents that are issued in Australia and New Zealand. There are patents that are issued in Canada. They're called crown patents. In Canada, they're called crown patents. In Canada, they're called crown patents. And also in Britain and different parts of Europe, but not all the countries of the world have land patents. And that's the unique thing about the United States. Our patents are allodial. Now, let me give you the definition of allodial. Here it is. Listen carefully. Owing to no one, nor to any lord, nor superior. Now, what that says it all.
Now, basically, what that says is that currently the way things work is after you finish paying your house off, you only own 3 feet past your foundation. Everything else that's beneath you, you do not own. That story where Jed struck oil on his land and they forced him to live in Beverly Hills, that's full of shit, because Jed only owned the top 3 feet of his land. They would basically show up and say, hi, we own the rest. We're going to suck out what's below your 3 feet. We don't owe you a dime, and we just have to restore your land back to the way it was. Now, a land patent, which, by the way, as far as Canada goes, is in every registry office, and they're absolutely free for you to pick up. Basically says that you own, if you believe that you live on a pretty blue ball, straight down to the magnetic molten core. Now, the funny thing is that if you apply heat to any magnet, it stops being a magnet. In fact, your lighter can blow most magnets out of the water. But they invented this cool story of a magnetic molten core. Regardless, you own all the land straight down to there. Plus, on top of that, your house stays in your family for as long as your name exists, or your family name exists. Basically, if anybody swindled the paperwork and somehow managed to sell your property without your approval, I guess, and someone from your family shows up even 50 years after the fact saying, that's the house that's in my family, basically, within a couple of days after that person proves it's their house, you can get the cops to kick people out of your house real quick. You know how cops love kicking people out. So now they're actually working for you. And it's yours for as long as your family exists. Next, I want to talk about not getting busted. Basically, the skippy dippy is, like I said, if the crime didn't have any violence, they had no business arresting you. And here's Christopher Hauser basically explaining the habeas corpus. He's also got a bunch of videos on the habeas corpus and the actual document itself. So basically, it's all on the website.
It's just good information to know, because what a habeas corpus does is when it's filed, all the points in the Hague have to be addressed. This is your argument. This is why you can't be holding me. And when you place this in there, how it's worked pretty much so far in Tennessee with inmates that have done this over the last couple of years, maybe a year and a half. The people with minor sentences, 2 to 5 years, 2 to 7 years, that kind of thing, they're releasing them rather than have to address the issues in Hague. The more serious offenses, the longer ones, it seems like what they're doing is they're bouncing the inmates around from prison to prison. Your internee center, for example, which is over in West Tennessee, Midwest Tennessee. You're in there, right, into that county, because they have to be written in the county that's holding you. The sheriff's the one who can release you. So that's where they have to be filed at. Filed in the county that you're charged in unless you're still in prison in that same, or in jail in that same county. These things are addressed where you're being held at, because it's the sheriff's responsibility to make sure that you're released. If he refuses to release you, then you take this to the provost marshal, because remember, all courts are military. The provost marshal has more power in individual counties than the sheriff does, believe it or not. But there are many things in the tape that have to be addressed, and you're actually arguing these points. And the one thing that there's quite a few things in here, but one thing that I particularly like to emphasize, besides the sovereignty and the lack of jurisdiction that these courts have, is what's called the enactment clause. A lot of people, I spoke last night about this in the little group, and no one seemed to know what it was. So I'm going to, if you give me a minute, I'll explain all this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 130-page document, and I'm going to break it down about probably tomorrow. I've got half of it worked through right now. Probably tomorrow I'll make a video or start making videos that if you have the you'll be able to follow along with this. And while I'm doing this, I'll do it. I don't know how many pages I'll be able to get. It'll have to do with how how much I want to talk about in each section of the tape, because there's quite a few. The one thing.
Now I'm not going to cover this whole video because it's pretty long. Here's some more pointers.
When the witnesses that came to testify were supposedly the injured party. That's what I'm talking about. The state can't go after you. The federal courts can't go after you because there's no injury. There's no injury. If you haven't hurt somebody or their property, or what you were doing would eminently or ultimately injure somebody, then they don't have jurisdiction over it.
And that's pretty much the skippy dippy of the habeas corpus. Now, if this is as far as your trials go, before you get sent to jail, you can throw any case out inside 5 minutes while you're standing there in court. You can simply say, "Hi, I'd like to challenge your jurisdiction." And basically what they're going to end up doing is remitting your case to the end of the day, so that there are no witnesses who possibly know that they can throw their cases out. This is how they keep stuff hidden on you. But regardless of the fact, these guys are going to teach you how you can never go to jail ever again, unless you like beating people up, and then we got problems, or you got problems as far as not getting out goes. If you're one of those people who likes living in prison, I'm not one of them, and I hope neither are you. Now, if you have a lead foot, this here is something you might like.
Hey Chris, I'm looking forward to getting a vehicle pretty soon, and I heard you mention that a couple weeks ago about special plates that they have on your except for U.S. Marshals, and I was wondering if you could point me towards one.
I sure can. The guy, his name's Wesley Mullins. He is, you can find him, I'm trying to find his website here. He's the one that's acting as a trustee, that's the side of acting as a trustee. I'm trying to find his, if you go to form, F-O-R-M, period.
Okay.
Jolt form, JOTFORM.com. Okay, that's Wesley Mullins' website to be the trustee. He is the one who, before he did this, he was and he still is. What he does is, you can go through his process, and he will create a federal ID for you that's accepted. It's accepted as a federal ID. Okay. Just as much as my VA card with my picture on it is a federal ID. His is too. Okay. And then what he does is he will set up a trust for you. Okay. So you put your car in. You take your car and you sell it to this trust, and then the trust gets registered. The trust registers the car with the United States Department of Transportation. Okay. Now what you're going to get is a car that's going to be registered to the DOT, and when they run the VIN number, it's not going to show that it's owned by you. It's going to show that it's owned by the trust. So they're going to get none of your information to write on a ticket, right? And then what happens is once that's all registered through the United States Department of Transportation, they give you U.S. DOT tags. With that U.S. DOT tag, the only ones who can pull you over are the U.S. Marshals and the Provost Marshal.
Wow.
So if you're like at Fort Campbell and you're on base, the Provost Marshal can pull you over. If you're driving around out here in the state, only a federal marshal can pull you over. The state police, city police, county police, they can't even pull you over. When they run your tags, they're going to see that this could be a do not detain or do not disturb, or it'll come up something like that on their NCIC computer.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what comes yet?
No, I don't. But it's not a crazy amount. I don't recall him talking about. Well, we were on a Zoom conference on this. First time I met him, he was explaining this stuff on a Zoom conference call that I had with the CH Center. Yeah, this guy is.
Now, basically, as far as every other country goes, as far as Canada goes, this basically works through the fact that only a sheriff or military police can stop you in Canada. OPP, RCMP, and local cops cannot stop you, even if your Lamborghini is basically got the needle buried flying down the highway. They're not allowed to stop you, and you're not breaking any laws as far as that goes. Now, let's see, what else is there as far as things you really ought to look into. Now, I've been kind of like, we're flying around, but let's take a look at some of the success stories. We're just simply, now basically in forums, as you can see on top it says our forums, so I'm in forums. Here basically you're going to find things like how to pay bills with a coupon, the mailing stuff for free. I'll show you that in a minute. In fact, before we start, let me just quickly show you what it means to pay. Oops, sorry, that's my music that I listen to. My bad. I can tell you that the main video that they have, it only comes out of one speaker, which really annoyed the bejesus out of me. So I basically redid the video for myself before I could possibly listen to it. And as far as basically mailing stuff for free goes, in the end, they're going to teach you how to fill out your envelope. You see everything on the envelope. You show that to the post office, and they'll say thank you very much, and we'll mail it for free. Now, you fill it out like that, and as long as you're willing to send it certified mail, which is pretty much one step up from what you were mailing it, you'll end up getting a bill just like this. Now, on top of that, let's say they said to you, oh, your box sucks eggs, and we want you to use one of our boxes, and wherever there's a post office, there's always a ton of boxes for sale. But that will be part of the bill, and when your prepaid mail went into that box, everything, including the box, becomes absolutely free. In this case, they did not need a box, but it would say on top of that, here's another couple of bucks for a box. But afterwards, it'll say that the price of everything will be 0.00, and that's how much you're going to pay for your mail. You can basically start mailing stuff for free 20 minutes after you finish watching this video. I would recommend watching, go get the explanations on exactly why and how you're filling this out, and off you go from there. So that covers the free mail. Now, as far as, Christopher Hauser, like I said, he's the only one who came out on top, and everybody, this guy here just has the best website, but there's a ton of different websites that this guy basically, a lot of people have started up. This guy just made the best one. Here are the success stories. Now, does every page have 15 or 20 of them? Yes, they do. Is there way more than 4 pages? Yes, there is. We're just simply going to go over it. Now, let's see here. Purchase the vehicle using a 1099A. Now, let's see. This guy here, basically saying that he uses OID 1096 and 1040B. This is a trustee. This is the person you want to find, and this person can be absolutely anybody, and here's the key word, you want it to be, except your spouse. It can be your kid, but it can't be your spouse. These guys are making like retarded rules on the fly. On top of that, the amount that you want has to be higher than $600. If the amount is lower than $600, everybody will tell you, get off our lawn, you cheap fuck. This does not work. But if it's over $600, the doors open up like crazy. So, I will later on show you that I even have how to fill out paperwork, but for now, let's just go see a couple of more success stories. Let's see, okay, restitution in prison. Someone got out, or somebody got someone out. I bought a brand new Land Rover. Let's see, success, about 3 days only. Oh, wow, that's pretty damn good. Let's see, success with a remittance coupon. That is basically what I tried showing you. When you send it in, that's called a remittance procedure, and they just shortened it down to remittance coupon. But basically, here's another person from another angle where they got their credit card made absolutely free. Let's see, there's a ton of other success stories. Like I said, they've covered every single situation you could possibly hit from every single angle. On top of that, they have a whole page here, page 3, pretty much at page 3 and 4 are mostly success stories, how someone sent their mail for free. And yippee-ki-yay, I don't send that much mail, so to me it's like no biggie deal. But a lot of people are sending their mail for absolutely free. Here's something you might want to read. Cable bill credit refund. Now what that basically means is that if you read about the W4 sandwich, which is literally called on the internet, the W4 sandwich, even YouTube has a bunch of videos on the W4 sandwich, or the W4 process, depending on who you hit and how you say it, it's actually the exact same thing. But what it basically says is that all the money you overpaid, you can get it back. Now, cable bills basically have a coupon at the bottom. So technically the cable company was double dipping when they, because there's the money you sent them and, to cover the bill, then there's the coupon you filled out, which now they're double dipping, plus they ding another 5%, which I'll explain later because a trustee is able to ding 5% for whatever they do for you, which is how the trustee gets paid. Now, basically, as far as all the low-end bills go, like unsecured or let's say entities that would not be considered lending, financial lending institutions, that includes credit cards by the way, or even money market, but if it's not one of those, you will get this money within a couple of years. On top of that, now if you chase lending institutions, credit cards, all the money you ever gave to Visa, you can ask for all the money they sucked off from you illegally back, but it's going to take 5 to 10 years. All the money you overpaid in taxes, in fact all the money you've ever given to taxes, but that, as far as like, as far as I'm concerned, that's Revenue Canada. In the States it's the IRS. But chasing them for your money, you will get it with interest, but it's going to take 15 to 20 years. And on top of that, they're going to make you do something, like either mail something or make a phone call once a month, just to keep you jumping through the hoops. But after a while, 15 to 20 years down the road, you can get your money back if you paid in taxes. It's your money, and if you want to get it back, they're more than happy to give it to you. But first, there's a couple of hoops. That's going to be pretty much it for the website. Let's just kill that and go back to this. Now, here's a few things that I figured out. If you made it this far, congratulations. That it's easier to chase new money than it is to chase old money. Now, by that, here's what I mean. If you want to get the house you live in paid for and your car paid for, that's going to take 6 months to a year. If you want a brand new house and a brand new car right now, it will take the IRS 2 months to cut a check. Now you're thinking, I kind of like the house that I live in and I kind of like the car that I'm driving now. Well, according to the system, absolutely legally, you are allowed to buy one house and one car a year. And on top of that, you can suck the money out even faster. But see, first of all, when I say you, first you have to go get a trustee. And that trustee gets paid for everything they do for you, 5 to 8, between 3 to 8% to be technical, depending on what it is. So it's in the trustee's interest to start giving you lots and lots of money. The more money they give you, the more money they make for themselves. And it's really good if you're someone's trustee and they're yours, and basically you're just swapping checks. Now, when somebody buys you a Lamborghini or a Rolls Royce or even both, that's not a heck of a lot of money. But here's the catch. They bought a Lamborghini or a Rolls Royce. It's the trustee's job now to make sure that they're happy with their car. So what they do is they will now set up and give you a gas card with the gas station of your choice, maybe several gas stations of your choice, and they will basically set up, let's say, a $5 to $10 million account with that gas station, so that literally all you got to do is show up and buy gas, which works really good for the gas station because they're guaranteed this money, and on top of that, it's good for the beneficiary who never has to carry any money around, which was the original deal that the United States came up with. And I know you may not be living in the US, but this, like I said, applies everywhere. Now, basically 5% off of $10 million for your gas card is a fair chunk of change. On top of that, when they buy you the house, you will on top of that want at least $1 million worth of furniture. Plus on top of that, which is something juicy for the trustee, plus they're going to cover all of your hydro and all of your land taxes up front. It's really nice to be able to give, let's say, all these companies a lot of money, like a few $1 million, so that they never have to hound you ever again. Now here's the catch. When you drop dead, which will eventually happen, I'm sorry to tell you that, the money that you basically have with various companies, as far as, you know, so that you don't have to carry any money around, all of those companies get to keep the money that you have left over. You cannot pass it off on your kids, which, you know, some people have a frowny face right now, but your kids have a ton of money of their own with this system. So it's nothing really that bad, and it's up to you to figure out how much money you'd like, you know, to give to the grocery store and the liquor store and the weed store and whatever other store you go to and all the restaurants you go to, so that, you know, when you drop dead, there's as little money in there as feasibly possible. But while you're running around living your life, you don't have to carry any money around. You just show up to all the places that are prepaid for you to eat, and you can go eat there. Or if you have to make a reservation, you go, hi, I'm the guy that has my bills covered, and they'll say, oh great, come on down, because they'll know you're going to spend like basically Donald Trump, and they don't have a problem with that, and neither do you, because you don't want to leave these bastards any money when you keel over. In fact, it'd be really nice if it was 0-0 everywhere on all of your gas cards and restaurants, yada yada yada. That's not going to happen. You're going to lose a few mil here and there. Whoopie-doo, no big deal. I want you to close your eyes and imagine when you dreamt of hitting it big was $300 million the number you thought of, because if it wasn't, then I wouldn't really worry about losing a couple of mil here and there. Now, let's see, one of my favorite videos to play that makes me happy. Everybody gets a car. Not with Oprah, of course. This is more like a little bit quicker, and it's not going to be some 4-seater shitbox. It's whatever car you want. So hopefully you want something like a Rolls Royce, a Land Rover, Beamer 900 series, Simsilinemer. There goes my Beamer! And that can happen in your life, no problem. Now, as far as filling out the paperwork, I know I said, hey, I got stuff that says they will show you even how to fill out the paperwork. As it turns out, we got to run back to the website really quick. As I'm thinking here, I forgot to show you, they actually also show you the conditional acceptance letter. My bad. In the conditional acceptance letter, it will tell you, again, how to write it, blah, 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 and then afterwards they got samples. Now, they purposely left out everything that you probably wanted to see here, like credit cards and bank loans, but here's the catch. If you saw that, you would stop thinking and just copy and paste, and off you go. That, in the end, will kill you. So, let me start out by saying every single sample was created from traffic tickets. They're all pretty much identical once you look at traffic tickets. It's not going to be self-explanatory right off the bat. Don't feel bad. It's your first day. Now, basically, you'll notice at the bottom here that you have choices of either flipping through the pages, playing it as a video, or you can download it as a PDF. Right here, it eventually will say, would you like to? And I already have, so I'm not going to bother. I also have ready copies to go as far as credit cards and bank loans, but even if you ask me for that, I'm still not going to give it to you, because in the end, everybody will insist that if you do not know what the hell this is, which the entire concept and website and every other freaking website is based on, then you should not put your feet even remotely close to the water. Okay, stay the hell away. Pay someone, yada yada. But you know, if you seriously can't figure this out, and if a guy like me can figure it out, pretty much anybody can. I know I sound like, you know, I'm a freaking guru or professor on this, or looking into this about a year and a half. The people running the websites are on top of me by about 8 months to a year. At least as far as the websites go. Christopher Hauser managed to pull this off in his first check was 2016 or 2017, somewhere there. So basically after that, he just started telling the world it takes a while to find Christopher Hauser online, because they really would rather throw a lot of blocks in your face so that you miss the point. Where the site or the video, you know, they are seriously manipulating content. They even tell you that they're manipulating content, you know, or they call it freaking algorithms. Well, so anywho, once you figure it out, and this document I think is 30 pages, or well, let's put it this way, it's 21 pages or 22, something like that. And then by the time you make it personal, it's going to be around 30 pages. Now you're probably thinking, oh my God, I got to write 30 pages of legalese. No, it's a lot of cut and paste, but you got to know what you're cutting and pasting, where you're cutting and pasting, and why would be really good to calm your nerves, since you are playing with a lot of money and you screw this up, and eventually, in this case, you screw this particular part of this up, you'll never see the money. Or you screw up down the line, they come and basically knock on your door going, hi, you really fucked up. Sorry to tell you that, but right now we got a piece of paper here that says you're willing to give everything back, go to the welfare office and live in a homeless shelter, or we send you to prison for the next 50 to 60 years, with no chance of good parole. This is going to be a trust fraud. Nothing to do with violence, that's true, but unfortunately that's trust fraud. And that's like the one little thing that you can get busted for that has no violence, because that's the same as robbing a bank. It doesn't matter if you had a gun or not, as long as you said you did, you're screwed. So pretty much that's everything on that. And now it's Coach MT again.
Let's get into this. There we go. I was learning how to do that and make sure I did it correctly. So this is the 1099A, and this is how you'll want to fill it out. Okay, you have the treasury information there, their TIN. Make sure you write that number down because you're gonna need it. The borrower is your social. That's how you put your name in there, first, middle, last, beneficiary.
Now, this guy here will literally show you how to fill out the 1099A, which you need for most purchases. The 1099C, when you want to discharge any bank loan. The 1040, which is when you become a trustee. The 1099 or the OID 1099, which is again for trustees. The 1040V, which is trustees, blah, blah, blah. But they're going to literally show you every piece of paper, why you have to fill it out, how you have to fill it out. If you'll notice in the zip code, he's got it in brackets. why you want to put these things in brackets, all the legally beagalies of this BS, so that you get your money as fast as freaking possible. Believe it or not, when you take a look at this guy's zip code, where you see brackets, those brackets speed up the process by 4 months. Notice how retarded shit gets. Just putting brackets around your zippy dippy code, or in Canada around your postally code, and boom, what normally should have taken 6 months, they're going to go, oh, this person knows what they're doing. We're going to have to put this through the skippy dippy way, which is now a couple of months. You know, they want you to get your money, literally. And this guy here will tell you about all the books that you can buy, and you know, all the absolutely everything, so you can do it. Literally, you can do it. If you don't want to do it, these guys will charge you money. It's like a couple of $100 for a half-hour session, and you tell them your problem, and then they're afterwards going to tell you, well, you need to fill this out, and you need to fill that out, and you go, well, I don't know how to fill all that out. And they're going to go, oh, okay, let us do it for you. Just put a couple of grand on the table, and we'll take care of it. But in the end, after they fill out all the paperwork, you still have to be the one to send the paperwork off. You still are the one who gets your money. They'll just simply make sure that all the paperwork is filled out properly for you. Or you can basically write me, or watch these websites, watch these videos, and they will literally explain everything down to the nitty-gritty detail. And if you contact me, you're not going to have to listen through hours of boring phone calls, because unfortunately, and it's not really your fault, when a person finds out about this, they want more information fast. And usually when it ends up happening is that they call, and it used to be a free call-in show, but when basically 9 out of 10 questions were, hi, I just found out about this, and I'm going to ask you a question that is covered either through the website or on the videos that are on the website as well, and the answer will always be, hi, you should go watch a video that is on the subject you wanted, or you should basically go and read this that I already have posted on my website, and I am not going to answer this question. But out of an hour and a half, maybe 5 or 6 questions are something worthwhile, out of which maybe 1 or 2 remotely apply to you. So it can be pretty boring phone calls. In fact, because it used to have so many newbie questions from newbies, he basically made it $20 a month to participate in his phone calls, because he got sick of saying, hi, I made a website, I painstakingly made a website, I put a shitload of videos on the website, and if you could take the time to go look at them, your question will be answered. I am not that much of a prick, at least not yet, because I haven't gotten a bazillion of these questions. So if you call me, my number is 774-213-1311, or you can email me. My email address is partypoet2012@gmail.com. I prefer phone calls. I hate writing, but regardless, if you can set up a Skype account, which is free, and then I can basically send you these videos, because you know, in your email I can only send you 25 megs, but through Skype I can send 300 megs, which basically covers, I can send you every video I got on the subjects that are interesting to you. And then afterwards, after you watch the video, the first thing that should come to your mind is, I want to do some research on this, because I do not, including everybody here, does not want you to jump and start filling out the paperwork and then getting on the forum saying, hi, I filled out what you guys said and I sent it to where you guys said, what's my next step? And they'll go, well, what did you send? I don't know, it's what you said to send. And then basically the shop closes down right in front of your face, and they become very jaded because they are sick of those questions, seriously. But you can ask me those questions all you want, and I will simply tell you, oh yeah, check this video, and then go do some research on your own. If you think that someone's literally going to wipe your ass and do this for you, I hope you have a lot of money, because these guys will be more than happy to take it. Otherwise, you can do this for free. Your choice. Anywho, that's all for this. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to say. It's about an hour and 12 minutes, but it's going to get shortened down. I had some hiccups here and there. Now, hopefully, you're going to go take a look and figure out that you want your money. And when it comes to things like you live on a pretty blue ball, or the fact that the earth is flat, which one is it? First of all, remember, if it sounds crazy, then this is how the oligarchy is hiding secrets on you. The quickest way to imagine whether or not you should start researching flat earth, I want you to consider if you've ever been on a round trip plane ride. It doesn't matter where you went, just as long as it took you pretty much just as long to go there as it did to come back. Sometimes it's actually a bit quicker in the opposite direction of the Earth's rotation. But I want you to now picture if there was a treadmill that was 1,000 feet long, you know, basically like one where 100 people can run all at once. But we just put you on that treadmill, and it's geared up to spin in one direction, just like the Earth rotates in one direction, 20% faster than you can run, because the Earth rotates 20% faster than the plane flies. Now, if I wind it up that fast, will you be able to go down one end and come back in relatively the same amount of time? Now, I know you're going to say no, and I know that the first thing that's going to jump in your mind, my God, if I say no, that means that the Earth is flat, holy moly, and you would rather just sit back and not answer that question. I would research the Earth is flat. You would be amazed at how much BS you walk out of school with. And if you do, I would recommend websites like Jeranism, which is on YouTube, or Dearth, which is short for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. It's a good start. You know, I'm just coming up a blank on the millions of videos. Karen B, lots of little things, but don't be jumping on what Google throws you as far as that goes. Oh, they cured cancer in 1940. But the reason why they still want to do cancer research is because the cure was completely natural, and they can't put it into a pill. So they're still looking for a cure that you can put into a pill. But if you would like the cure for cancer, which is literally free, if you know somebody with cancer, contact me. I can get rid of cancer and any other ailment the human body can have inside a month. That goes for everything that wasn't man-made. Unfortunately, there's a lot of viruses running around that are man-made. And by that, I'm not talking about the hippy-dippy virus COVID-19. I'm talking about AIDS, which was man-made. Hepatitis was man-made. Those are a bitch to get rid of, you know, and nothing natural is going to get rid of man-made food. But if you don't have that stuff, you can get rid of it. And they're dropping $120 million a day into cancer research, and another $80 million a day into Fund NASA to keep showing you cartoons of a pretty blue ball. Did you know you have never ever seen a picture, a live photograph of the planet Earth? Everything you've seen are a bunch of cartoon balls. Really sad when you find that shit out, let me tell you. Anywho, I can show you a ton of videos on whatever subject you feel free to want to find out about. I'm not going to cover too much on COVID, but a lot of people got the jab to continue on with their life. Their job basically enforced it. Now you will have the option, if someone says jab or job, you can say, you know what, I'd rather go get my 300 million and take this job and shove it. Isn't that fun to say? With 300, when you know that there's $300 million backing you. Now, basically the other thing, oh whoops, that I forgot to cover, is that you can be writing yourself a check. Once you figure this stuff out, I figured out how you can write yourself a check for $10 million a year, or choice B, $100 million every year and a half. Personally, I wouldn't recommend it, because the $100 million that you're going to suck out of the IRS, now you could lose it, or something could happen. This way it's perfectly safe. If you kind of like keeping things in your pocket, it's up to you. But if you're going to go buy, let's say, a $10 million house, which let's say you need, so you can go buy one, you can walk up and say, hi, here's a $2 million down payment from the $10 million that I wrote myself. And I'm going to ask you now to wait 2 months for a check to come to you. In fact, you fill all this out, you show them the paperwork, they fill out the paperwork, they send it off to the IRS, and the check will come directly to them. And on there you can basically say, hi, the house was $10 million, but I already gave you 2, so basically can you go ask for $8 million from the IRS? You end up getting 5%, because technically you're a trustee. You're going to wear 2 hats on this transaction, just not at once. You're never allowed to wear 2 hats at once, only one at a time. But you can basically get yourself 5% of the $8 million for that house that's still coming. They get a check for $8 million, you got 5% in your pocket for them getting a check for $8 million. Plus, you get the house. Then you go do a land patent, and zippity-doo, that house is yours forever. And if you have a nice trustee, they will cover your taxes, land taxes that you may have, and various other hydro bills that you may have, so that these bills never even show up to your house. But that is not covered on the website. Most of what I just said right now. That I figured out. And hopefully, you will do some of the research, because I do not want someone who didn't watch all the videos and figure this stuff out before we get into the advanced version of write yourself a check and see $10 million in a couple of months. If you like that, again, my number is 774-213-1311, or on Skype, my name is Mark Smiley, with no R, just 2 E's. But either way, Skype will send you lots of choices. I would respond to them all asking, are you the guy for the 1099A? And whichever one responds appropriately, make that your friend, and then we'll go from there. And then I can send you tons of videos to speed up your research. Everybody wants you to get the money. Nobody wants to charge you for doing this. Even if they charge you for doing this, you're still going to end up having to go and get your money. Some of the folks, you might want to be careful, will want to make you their beneficiary. And if you have absolutely no friends or that you can trust, go ahead. I personally would rather be it my friend than somebody that I do not know. But everybody that basically is offering this on the internet, that has big groups and big websites, are usually hardcore Christians. And as far as why the Earth, this reminds me why they told you to live on a pretty blue ball, so that you don't decide to explore past Antarctica, which is closed off to the public. You cannot, even if you wanted to. They're saying we have to conserve the penguins, which is so full of shit. But regardless of the fact, Antarctica is closed off. Everything after the 60th parallel is closed off, so that there's no way you'll see the ice walls unless they want you to. But basically, why the lie is because heaven's up, and they would rather. Sorry, my bad. Fuck, I've been doing this way too long. Heaven's down, and all the propaganda they have says to go up to hell when you die. And when you walk into hell, it's like Hotel California. And after you walk in, there's no walking out. And if you weren't a mean Satanist all your life, all you get to do is scream in eternal terror. If you want to go the other way, like I said, I can show you. There's a ton of websites. If you want to research a fellow by the name of Marty Leeds, with 2 E's, he'll basically explain to you that the entire Christian Bible is just an analogy of what you see in the stars. Literally. In fact, the 3 stars that point to the sun rising are still to this day called the 3 kings. And Jesus Christ is your son. Basically, they just found a cool way of getting their heliocentric model into the big blue book. As far as various other religions, Judaism, question that I would ask is, why is it for the first 5,000 years of your religion was the symbol that symbolized your people a menorah, and then all of a sudden it got twisted into the Star of Ephraim or the Star of David or the hexagram, whichever way you look at it, that's basically a demonic symbol. So how were they able to spin all the Jewish people from the menorah into the hexagram? I would think about that. And if you're Muslim, I would ask yourself, were you aware that in the beginning the Muslim people worshipped a city called Mecca with an Becca, my bad, Becca with a B. Just like billions and billions of Muslims with a B. And then all of a sudden, they spun their heads around 180 degrees to a city called Mecca. Why is it that your entire religion change on the fly inside a period of 50 years? Basically, that there is something, the Apuki text, or I forget what it is, the before texts is something you may want to look into. Regardless, these are things to think about, make you go, In the meantime, go do some research and go get your money. Please and thank you. Have a nice day.